This program is supported by the Innertown Record, your weekly hometown community newspaper covering the Kearsarge-Sunapee Sunshine region of New Hampshire. The Innertown Record.
Well, welcome back to Yankee Chronicle. We have a very special guest. We have a new principal, Lisa Scolaro. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, it's so nice to have you here. So you're at Sutton Elementary School.
Yes, correct.
That is a beautiful spot.
It is a wonderful school.
And historic.
And special.
Yes, it really is. The community really centers, around the school. And what a great spot to be in.
Yeah, it's a beautiful location. It's wonderful staff, amazing students and families. So, yeah.
Oh, that's just great. But that's not your only title.
It is not. No.
You're also the curriculum director for the district.
That is correct.
That's a big job too.
It's exciting though because I get to wear two hats. I get to think at a systems level from a district perspective, and I get to be right on the ground with students and teachers.
And that really only benefits your position as a principal, I would imagine.
I believe it helps me be a better educational leader. Absolutely.
Right. Which is wonderful. So we were talking earlier with Chris Garrity about competency-based learning, and it's been around for a while. But still, it's a concept that's new to folks. So can you tell us what that means and how it's processed and implemented?
Sure. It's a jargony term, right? Yeah. It's a way to describe how you do school. But simply, it's a commitment to some pillars that empower our learners to be decision makers in their education. It forces us to be creative in the pathways and to be flexible in when and how students do their work. It requires we think about feedback differently, and that when we're sharing with students how they're doing, we're giving them actionable feedback on really clear targets that they knew from the beginning.
So you're not just picking up a piece of paper and putting an A or a C on it. You're saying, here are the skills you're working on, and here's where you're at? Right.
So as a parent, I can remember getting that piece of paper that says my daughter got a 13 out of 15 in multiplication. Okay, and I know she missed something, but where in multiplication did she fall down? As a caregiver, how do I support her? Even though she did test corrections in her classroom and she might have had an idea, in the model that we're talking about, that feedback is specific. You were working on 2 by 2 digit multiplication. That's the specific skill. Here's where you were successful. Here's where you're not yet, and now you can set your own goals as a learner in your next steps.
So that's where the decision-making process as a student comes into play?
As well as sometimes how we show our understanding. What is the best methodology or modality for me to share with you what I know as opposed to what I don't know?
So how does that translate to the elementary level? Because that's a really big deal to say, Mrs. Scolaro, I'm not sure I know my times table, or I even understand the idea and concept behind multiplication. Do they communicate that?
Yes, I think you have to remember that there's a developmental component to this. So it looks a little bit different at an elementary school. But we're also hardwired as elementary teachers to think in a problem-based manner, in a project-based way. We already have many of those practices in place. We have to teach our learners the right language. We have to give them the opportunities to slowly step into choice. But you can absolutely build that sense of autonomy, that sense of advocacy in our young learners.
That's empowering for them.
It absolutely is.
Do you see that?
Yes, I feel it as an adult. Why wouldn't a child feel the same way?
Exactly. And how are the families and parents? Are they on board? Do they understand it?
I think you're going to find that throughout Kearsarge, this is what we're shifting to and starting the conversation with our families. So at the elementary level this year, our teachers are starting to use language, these learning targets, with students and families. It's called, no secret teaching, right? We're going to be really transparent with you, what we want you to know and be able to do, and we're starting to use that language. So it's a subtle shift, a little bit at a time, bite size, how much can we tackle at one point? So we're not, some of this is already in play, some of it's going to roll out a little bit at a time. We're not changing everything we do. We are always improving our practice, and this is a part of that work.
But it sounds like as part of your best practices, you're lifting the veil.
We're lifting the veil, and we are putting the work in the hands of the learners, which is how you learn.
Absolutely, and that's what. And as you said, we do it as an adult. Why not as a student? Okay, so what I need from you as the curriculum director, what's the message that you want to send out to students and to families?
I want us to recognize that just because it looks different than maybe how we learned it, that doesn't mean it has to be scary. And the language of CBE, competency-based education, doesn't actually matter. It's a term. But it allows us to have a conversation about what we're doing. And so don't be scared by the word competency-based education. Don't see it as throwing out all the good that we do. See it as us continuing to refine the work that we do in our classrooms, and a way to empower our learners to take charge in their education.
I think that's a great theme for Halloween this year. Don't be scared. I mean, really, don't be afraid, because we throw around a lot of education terms, so how wonderful. That's a great message to end up on. Lisa Scolaro, wish you all the luck at Sutton. It's a beautiful school, and we wish you a wonderful school year.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Coming up next, Yankee Chronicle will again be presenting the Kearsarge Regional School District, where they promote personal responsibility, accountability, and wellness for our students. Tune in to YCN's live Game of the Week. This weekend, we'll have a double header starting Friday at 6:24 p.m. as Kearsarge hosts Kingswood, and Saturday at 1:54 p.m. as Newport hosts Winnisquam. Games replay Sunday and Monday at noon and 7 p.m. on TDS channels 13 and 1013, NCTV8, Roku, Apple TV, and for those that don't have cable, our YCNNow.com website carries all our programming on demand anytime. And join us again next week as we're presented by your Kearsarge Regional School District for an all-new edition of Yankee Chronicle. I'm Laura James. Enjoy the balance of your week, everyone.
This program is supported by H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating. Their full-service model offers oil delivery, propane, motor fuels with design, installation, service, and maintenance of all types of oil, gas, and alternative energy systems, as well as air conditioning, water conditioning systems, and their highly trained and friendly staff will assist you throughout the process of buying, installing, and servicing a full line of energy products. H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating. Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire since 1997, with roots going back much further as the country press, AccuMail, and the home of the Kearsarge shopper. Echo Communications. Main Street Bookends of Warner, for books, toys, games, cards, gifts, and a gallery of local art. Main Street Bookends of Warner. The Innertown Record, your weekly hometown community newspaper covering the Kearsarge Sunapee Sunshine region of New Hampshire. The Innertown Record.